It's the first time since Theresa May's historic defeat in Parliament 2 weeks ago on Brexit, the Prime Minister has finally sat down with the leader of the opposition. Labour's Jeremy Corbyn agreeing to one-on-one talks after Parliament Tuesday agreed on a motion that rejects the principle of a no-deal Brexit. But while the two were conferring in private in the House of Commons, over in Brussels, EU leaders resoundingly rejecting any hope of a renegotiation of the divorce deal with the UK.
The withdrawal agreement remains the best and only deal possible. The European Union said so in November. We said so in December. We said so after the first meaningful vote in the Commons in January. The debate and votes in the House of Commons yesterday do not change that. The withdrawal agreement will not be renegotiated.
Our coverage begins in Brussels. Correspondent Dave Keating is there. Dave, the EU offering any wiggle room?
Not really, certainly not from Jean-Claude Juncker or Michel Barnier, who were very clear in their speeches to the European Parliament here earlier today that there was no wiggle room. The only way they will reopen that withdrawal agreement is if Theresa May changes her red lines to be open to a customs union, a permanent customs union with the EU, and that's something her party just won't accept. It just remains to be seen whether that same unity is shown by the rest of the EU 27 countries. There was a really fiery debate in the Parliament chamber, basically between Juncker, Barnier, and kind of the centrist continental European MEPs, and Nigel Farage, leader of the UK Independence Party, also Ashley Fox, the leader of Theresa May's Conservatives in the European Parliament, saying Brussels is showing intransigence here and that the British public will not see kindly to this, and this will show not just British people but European people that Brussels is not willing to compromise and is riding roughshod over democracy. It got very, very heated. And so the question is whether that pressure, whether the idea that people will start to feel like we're not looking like the good guys here, whether or not some of those member states will start to get cold feet. But right now, it is absolute unity from EU leaders and from national leaders. The withdrawal agreement cannot be reopened.
All right, whether or not the EU will blink, let's take that a step further, Dave, and listen to what the Irish have to say. Theresa May, due to speak to EU officials and to Ireland's Prime Minister later. Ireland, whose top diplomat accuses London of wishful thinking if it hopes, in essence, to go back on the Good Friday peace agreement that keeps the peace in Northern Ireland to appease this in a bid to appease unionist concern over keeping the border open to Europe during the next phase.
We in Ireland are essentially being asked, as is the EU, to replace legal certainty, having negotiated that over 2 years around British red lines, and to replace it with a hope of something that has yet to be proven. And in fact, it's worse than that, because these hopes have already been tested in the negotiations and have come up short.
So no going back on the so-called backstop, David Keating. Can the Irish sleep soundly?
They can certainly feel backed up by the European Union. It was said so by Michel Barnier in his speech that the EU will not abandon Ireland. He noted specifically that this just isn't Ireland's border, it's Europe's border, it's the EU's border, and for that reason the EU will treat it as a priority. Now, we'll see if that unity lasts, but right now I would say Dublin can feel assured by the interventions that took place here in the Parliament today that the EU is not budging on this withdrawal agreement, and there is solidarity among the other 27 countries.
Dave Keating in Brussels, many thanks for that update. Listening attentively is our own